Hello, Commanders fans. Today we have some hot news that you can't miss, so get ready because there's a lot of important information coming your way. Before we begin, we'd like to take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and stay up to date on all the news about our Washington Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which greatly strengthens our community and helps bring this content to the most passionate fans of the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news.
Commanders interview Steelers' Teryl Austin for defensive coordinator position. With his future in Pittsburgh uncertain, Steelers defensive coordinator Teryl Austin was interviewed for the same position with the Commanders, according to Nikki Shabvala of The Athletic. This is Austin's first preseason interview in his 7th year in Pittsburgh and his 4th as defensive coordinator. The 60-year-old coach may end up elsewhere in 2026, following the resignation of head coach Mike Tomlin. Austin became the 7th person interviewed for the Commanders' defensive coordinator position, as they seek a replacement for the fired Joe Witt. Coach Dan Quinn and his staff also discussed the position with Brian Flores, Chiefs defensive line coach Joe Cullen, former Cardinals coach Jonathan Gannon, former Titans defensive coordinator Denard Wilson, Bears defensive backs coach Al Harris, and Seahawks defensive backs coach Carl Scott. With the exception of Flores, who will remain with the Vikings if he doesn't secure a head coaching position, all the others in this group are still available. Austin, without a doubt, is the most experienced among them. More than a decade after beginning his career as an assistant coach at Penn State in 1991, received his first NFL opportunity as a defensive backs coach for the Seahawks in 2003. Between his 4 years in Seattle and his stint in Pittsburgh, he worked in various NFL roles with the Cardinals, Ravens, Lions, and Bengals. Austin's first experience as a coordinator was in Florida in 2010, and Quinn succeeded him in the role the following season. After Austin took over the defense in Pittsburgh, the unit finished in the top 10 in points allowed in 3 consecutive seasons, although it ranked less impressively between 12th and 21st in yards allowed each year. On the other hand, the Commanders' defense was virtually unremarkable in 2025. While Washington ranked a respectable 12th in sacks, it ranked 27th in points allowed, 31st in turnovers, and last in yards allowed.
Commanders point to the best landing spot for a disgruntled $120 million helicopter. If you're curious to understand the nature of a disgruntled and spoiled NFL receiver, after Aiyuk publicly complained about the lack of a contract extension following his 2023 NFL All-Pro season, the 49ers relented and gave him exactly what he wanted: a 4-year, $120 million contract extension, including $76 million guaranteed, tying him to the 49ers until 2028. Aiyuk played 7 games for the 49ers in 2024 before tearing his ACL and MCL in Week 7 and never played for the 49ers again. In November, the 49ers took the unusual step of voiding the remaining $27 million in guaranteed money on Aiyuk's contract, after he received $48 million in exchange for just 7 games, 35 receptions, 304 yards, and no touchdowns. I think we can safely say he played his last game for the 49ers, said 49ers general manager John Lynch on January 16th. His next stop could lead to a much-anticipated reunion and breathe new life into the Washington Commanders' moribund passing game after a 5-12 regular season. Aiyuk could reunite with his college quarterback. Mo Moton of Bleacher Report considered Washington the best destination for Aiyuk, where he could reunite with Jayden Daniels, his college quarterback from his days at Arizona State. If the Washington Commanders want to see quarterback Jayden Daniels progress after a year of regression marked by injuries, they need to add more offensive players around him, wrote Mo Moton of Bleacher Report on Thursday. The Commanders could sign an elite receiver who has chemistry with their promising young quarterback. Aiyuk had his contract with the 49ers terminated because he was not fulfilling the terms of his contract. It takes a lot to get a contract voided. San Francisco 49ers coach Sean Shanahan told ESPN's Nick Wagner on November 22nd, "I've never dealt with that in my career, and I've never been in a situation like that. It was unusual, but I can't get into that right now." The Daniels-Aiyuk relationship under the microscope. Why would the Commanders be a good fit for Aiyuk? Primarily because Daniels is his best friend, which doesn't seem like a good reason. "I'm going to lay out some facts," wrote Grant Paulson, host of DC Sports Radio, on his official X account. Aiyuk is best friends with Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels. Adam Peters helped draft Aiyuk in San Francisco. Deebo Samuel will become a free agent this offseason, and the wide receiver position will be a big need. Washington High School will be keeping an eye on him. If Aiyuk is released before June 1st, it means the 49ers would face a $29.585 million salary cap impact, and he is in possible trade. Commanders' $90 million star could be available for trade. After a brutal 5-12 campaign in 2025, the Washington Commanders are likely to undergo a rebuild, meaning the team could trade defensive lineman Daron Payne during the offseason. According to PFF, Payne is a top candidate to be traded, especially after the firing of former defensive coordinator Joe Witt. Unfortunately for the veteran, the player's performance has dropped significantly in recent seasons, which may force the Commanders to trade or release him during the offseason to rebuild the team. Regardless of who takes over as the new defensive coach, many expect Payne to be a top candidate to be traded in Washington. Possible trade. Commanders star Daron Payne, valued at $90 million, could be available for trade. Payne became known for punching the Detroit Lions star wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown during the 2025 regular season, earning him a one-game suspension from the league. It wasn't the first time he'd had trouble controlling his anger, as in 2021 he poked former Commander Jonathan Allen on the sidelines. Despite signing Dan Quinn and the team finding its rhythm during the 2024 season, it seems the Commanders will have to start from scratch. One of the many players likely to leave the team is Payne. Originally selected in the first round of the 2018 NFL Draft, the former University of Alabama player was selected to the Pro Bowl during the 2022 regular season. Possible next teams: Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers lost Jesse Minter, the team's defensive genius, but should still be able to rebuild their defensive line. Between Tahir Tart and Deshaun Hand, the Chargers' defensive line was never the same after Poona Ford left for the Rams. The team needs to save this defense, and even if Khalil Mack returns, it will take more than him to get this defense back on track. Payne is still early in his career, but he would easily fit into a promising defense with plenty of depth on the sides and would wreak havoc in the middle alongside Tart, should his contract be renewed. Dallas Cowboys. Meanwhile, don't expect the Commanders to trade Payne to Dallas. The only way the Cowboys could get Payne would be if the Commanders waived him. After hiring Christian Parker as the new defensive coordinator, there are many scenarios where free agents from the Eagles' defense could join the team. Players like Reed Blankenship and Nakobe Dean could go to Dallas, but why not sign Payne to improve the defensive line?